Hi, welcome to Life Expressions. I'm your host, Charie Elon. I'm excited today because we are going to talk about the last element of the spark framework. Igniting your spark, having that joy in your life every single day, even if there are struggles, because you have service, purpose, attraction, resilience, and last is knowing. And today we're going to discuss that with inspirational speaker and author Azim Jamal. Hi, Azim.
Hi, Shari.
Yes, and I also have here my classmate in the Ignite Your Spark Masterclass. And through my interviews with her, has become kind of my mentor as well, and very good friend, Farzana Kherani. Hi, Farzana. Welcome back.
Hi, Sherry. Thanks for having me back.
It is my pleasure. Let's dive into knowing. When I talk and I share with my friends that, yes, I know it's going to be good, and then they start laughing, others would smirk, here you go again. But let us share with them, what is knowing, Azim?
So, as we mentioned in the master class, it's a zero doubt because a small doubt is too big. So, when you have a knowing, which makes a done deal, you walk it, you talk it, you breathe it, it becomes a self fulfilling prophecy. And you show it in every which way you go about it, in your body, in your voice, in your demeanor, in your action, in your reaction. So, that is what it is, right? It is something that's a done deal.
Yeah, so when you are aiming for something, you just know that you're going to have it. It's not just knowledge, it's awareness. That is for me. But for you, Farzana, what is knowing for you?
So, I have to say, knowing is one of the most difficult ones out of the Spark series that I have struggled with. And I think knowing is exactly as being aware. And it's absolutely true. You need to be aware. But I get in my way when I know. So, my question to Azim is how do you get out of your way so that you are in that knowing phase all the time?
Yeah, a great question. I think getting in the way is a doubt, right? The doubt coming from somewhere that I'm fooling myself. It's not really going to happen, or the past experience has been so and so and so forth. The idea is that whatever you are aspiring for has to be really exciting for you. You have to have a belief and conviction about it, and you want it so badly. It's going to have a burning desire, not just a desire, but a fire in your belly. So if something you want so badly and you want it, then you want to start to believe it. I'm going to get it, right? So, and now, we talked about awareness, but there are two types of awareness. There's awareness and there's heightened awareness. Great leaders have heightened awareness, and the whole idea about knowing is not just seeing things, but observing. Seeing is one thing, but observing and really dissecting it. So first you start with what is my aspiration? What is my goal? What am I chasing for? And how important it is for me. And the more important you make it, the more, worthwhile you make it, the more excited you are about it. And then, you go with the knowing and belief and any past baggage or what, just may be able to get rid of it as soon as possible. So it doesn't manifest more in your body, in your mind, in your being.
I would like to dwell into that further, Azim, when you say you have an aspiration and you just know that you're going to achieve it. This is different from an aspiration of winning the lottery, okay? Because others might just say, okay, I know I'm just going to win the lottery. But this is different, right? What is really knowing? Like, how do you know that you know, hey, this is just going to happen for me? If you know what you want, you list it down, you do things towards it, and you believe without a doubt, then is that knowing, Azim?
I think the good point you made about is the activity impact, right? Not the activity trap. I want this. I affirm this. I am this. So I have this. The affirmation expression with intensity, with clarity, with conviction, with frequency. And if you keep saying it all the time with that kind of energy around you, almost like becomes, your subconscious mind is grabbing it. And then ask yourself to achieve that. What is my activity going to be? How I'm going to design my time, my energy, my strategy, my team, whatever it is. So once
Yes.
you have the affirmation and the activity impact, then you become like a living magnet to attract people, circumstances, accidents to achieve it, and helps your knowing become a reality, right? So, and if you're not, like if you're on the trap, then obviously you're saying affirmation, but when you look at what you're doing is not aligning, that's where the doubt comes in. Really, I'm not really playing my part. to achieve it. And so I'm creating doubt in my being because I'm not aligning my effort towards what I want.
Yeah. Farzana earlier said that she has struggled with knowing in this framework of Spark. If there are doubts, Farzana, and you know and you're aware that you have that, what do you do to avert it?
I start journaling because when you start journaling and you're writing those points, you start to realize how minimal it actually is. And you sit down and you look at it as a priority. Okay, yes, this happened to me in the past, or this happened to me just yesterday, or oh, it happened to me this morning. But how do I change that? How do I switch that to I still want to achieve this goal of what I'm putting myself forward to? I know that I can do this. I know this is me. I know this is my aspiration. So how do I push that? And I think journaling really makes a difference. And I know that Azim has taught both of us a lot about journaling and the importance of that.
Yes, definitely agree. Journaling has helped me a lot. But of course, journaling for me has become a habit, but there are times that I break it. Sometimes I do journaling every day, sometimes twice a week. It depends. Does it matter, Azim?
And I think the more you do it, the more you increase your awareness, right, in terms of what you're doing. And also, if you have a conviction about something that you really want to achieve and you want to have a zero doubt, then you only journal around that because now we are focusing on one thing that you want to achieve. And so the journaling would become, what am I doing to get that? What can I do better? What I can change in my approach to what I'm doing. So again, the focus helps you to achieve what you're trying to achieve. I think the other part about it is journaling, basically takes you away from symptoms to root issues. Like, what is stopping me? Is it a symptom or is it a root issue? So once you get the root of the problem, you solve the problem that is affecting you or stopping you to achieve your target or goal that you have to achieve. And once you solve a root issue, it's gone forever. But if you solve a symptom, it keeps repeating. And part of the knowing formula, as you know, was journaling, meditation, and balance, right? So meditation also helps you to go inward. What is the goal I'm trying to chase? Is it something of a higher calling? Will the universe help me? Will God help me, to achieve it? So if it's very self-centered, if it's very selfish, it's ego-centered, doubts come in because it's all about you, right? So when you have a goal larger than self, then the subject, the ego, disappears in the object and magic starts to happen, right? So that also plays a part. So there may be a few factors and balance as well. If your life is not balanced and your family is complaining and your health is messed up and then you don't feel good about yourself, again, your doubts come in, right? Because you don't feel at your peak game.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Can you share a moment when your inner knowing guided you in the things that you should do? Like this can be a general question, but are there moments that you just know that you're doing the right thing despite the things that are happening around you, despite what other people say? You just know, hey, I am on the right track, Farzana.
I would say there's days that happens every day. You will get a text message from someone saying, "Hey, I need your help. This is what I need help with." I look at it, I reflect, can I help this person in the way that they need their help that they need? And if it's something I can do, I go ahead and say, sure, I'll make it happen. Takes a few days, make it happen, call back and say, okay, this is what it is, this is done. And it's interesting because I had that happen to me a few weeks ago. Somebody texted me, asked me for a few things, and I was a bit taken back because I wasn't expecting this person to contact me. I felt like I would be the last person they would contact, but they did. And I felt like, okay, they're in need here. And so let me help them. So I helped them. I reached out to them and said, I have what you need. And they actually came to my house to pick it up. But what I found so intriguing was we sat for 45 minutes and had a conversation. And she taught me a lot about myself in the process of our conversation. And in turn, I think I gave her a few spark ideas so that she could feel like she was on the right track as well. And so, that's when like you feel that sense of, I'm not doing this because it's a favor. I'm doing this because I feel like this is the right thing to do in the moment.
I love that. Azim, anything to add to
No, I
that?
think I think it's about alignment, right? You have a goal, you have an aspiration, you're chasing it. Something else happens, seems like off track, seems like But then there's an alignment, and like she mentioned, she was able to make a positive difference to that person and vice versa. And in some way help your knowing, which is where you're going. So it may not be a straight line. It could be curves, but alignment is there. The other part, very, very important, very, very important. The journey is the destiny. This is my destiny. This is I'm annoying. I want to get there, and I'm going. But the going is the beauty.
Yes.
This is not a destination. Happiness is a journey. So as I'm going to my knowing, each step is part of the knowing. Because if you're waiting for the knowing, it's like if I want to have X and you achieve X, then you want to achieve Y, and then you're always achieving something, but the journey becomes a destiny. Yeah. So
Mm,
almost like the journey is the knowing. That every step I'm taking is getting me to the knowing, and every step is part of that knowing. It's not when I get it, the outcome, but everything I'm getting towards the outcome is also in itself a knowing.
Yeah. I remember the song, The Climb. It's not necessarily the mountain, but it's the climb towards it that makes it more enjoyable. The people that you are with, your self awareness.
mhm.
And so it is actually, right? It's the journey that
Yeah.
lets you know more. But would you say that you're knowing, like when you know, there is an inner voice that tells you? Is it about inner voice? For me, I would say because I pray, it is my inner voice. And I think it's the higher power that's telling me as well and talking to me. And I feel that is very special. I walk by faith,
Mhm.
not by sight. Therefore, I call it knowing. What do you say to that, Azim?
Yeah, I think the important part is that the journey, whatever is happening towards what your outcome is. For example, this podcast. So it's a podcast we've been having it with Cat Talk, but it has a bigger purpose. It has a bigger
True.
purpose to whatever you want to achieve in your life, and it has to align to it. And this in itself should be part of that knowing. It cannot be, until I get there, then it's going to become knowing. No, it's part of it. So
Yes.
everything you do, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you eat, the way you engage with somebody, the way you have a problem and an obstacle, it's all part of that journey. Yeah, and I agree with you. The inner voice, the inner knowing is important because it's telling you, and that's where meditation comes in. Meditation is a process of going inside and going inside and going inside, seeking for the power which is within you. And that power is more powerful than any voice which is in the head.
Yes.
Yeah, so connecting and aligning those two also are important.
I
But
love
I
that.
really want to emphasize the power of the process, the power of the journey, the power of the now, what is happening
Yes.
now. Is all part and parcel of, because otherwise, all your life, you're going to be chasing something.
Correct.
And then align with whatever you're aspiring for, almost like a connection. That is the done deal. The done deal is not when it happens, it's a done deal while it's happening.
Yes.
Yes.
And this is the
And
power, right?
yes, and I remember Azim in our conversations and the Ignite Your Spark Masterclass. It's not just what you do, it's what you become. And that is the process. Farzana, what is your daily routine to help you strengthen your sense of knowing?
I would say being aware at all times, like whatever I'm doing it with purpose. So, washing the dishes, right? I want to make sure that they're washed properly. So, I wash them properly, right? I'm having a conversation with someone who is just, we're just shooting the breeze and finding out about how your day was. But I'm intentionally asking certain questions to make sure that they are actually okay, right? It's, you have great friendships and you want to make sure everyone's doing well. But sometimes you just have this inner feeling, like, how we talk about knowing that inner feeling. They're
Yeah.
calling to check in on me, but something else is going on, right? And they may need to talk about it. So, intentionally asking certain questions. I think, there's ways to make things happen that way. We talk about the journey, right? And the biggest thing is it's not getting to the destination because there's no destination really at the end of the day. Your journey is your destination every single day.
I agree with that. Azim, anything to add? Like for yourself, Azim, what's your daily routine? Share with us.
Yeah. So I think, I've mentioned in the past three things personal, three things business or work. Personal are your health, your spirituality, and your mind, right? So body, mind, soul. Some exercise for your body, some reading for your mind or learning for your mind, and some prayer or meditation for your soul. So the personal stuff. And then the top three priorities of work. What is my top three? If I can achieve this top three today, of my night before, I know if I can do these three things in my business at work, it's a wow. If I do 30, but not this three, not a wow. So being very clear, crystal clear about what the three things are, and then focusing on that and not allowing any distractions to come in to take your day away. Because as the first hour goes, so goes your day. The
Yeah.
first hour is body, mind, soul. At 1 hour you invest. It's not expense. It's not profit and loss. Balance sheet. The 1 hour you
Mm.
invest in your body, mind, soul significantly enhances the next 23 hours. You're more dynamic, more energetic, more fulfilled because you're invested in your body, mind, and soul. So that's part one. Part two is what are the top three things I must do today? Get on it without any interruptions. Keep your phone away. And if you get those three done, by 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., if you're down to the top three personal, top three business, you feel so good about yourself. Then the whole rest of the day aligns with that approach because you can't do everything, right? And if you have a knowing about something, hopefully the top three things are aligned to that knowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what Farzana was bringing up earlier about challenges. You see, challenges are really, really important because challenges makes you better. A challenge coming towards your knowing or your goal or your aspiration is a stumbling block, but it's a test for you to overcome that to feel worthy of achieving your outcome because you're able to not complain about the problem or obstacles, but looking at it as an opportunity because every challenge is really an opportunity. The more you solve a challenge, the better you become, the more creative you become, the more innovative you become. You know, faith is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. So I think that's important. The last point is about flow. Are you in the flow state? The flow state, it means you are so present in the flow state that you achieve so much more in so little time because you're in the flow, right? In the flow, losing track. You know, you're so focused and so present that the clock stops. You achieve so much in such short time that your productivity also enhances. So my daily routine is around these things that if I'm aligned to all these areas that I know that I'm in the zone.
Yeah.
So
How do you yeah,
Sherry, I have
Farzana?
a question. So,
Yes,
and
please.
directed to both you and Azim. But, Azim, you talk about flow. How do you know you're in the flow? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe I know I am and I just don't know I am. But how do you know?
You want to answer? Yeah, you feel so energetic, so present, and you can see how much achievement. For example, when I wake up at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and I've slept well, I go to my place of work and I got my stuff there and I have my cup of tea and I'm working. I'm energetic and I'm creating so many things and I'm so sharp and so fast. I look at the clock, it's 10 past 2. It's only 10 minutes, but I've done so much because the energy and there's focus and the rhythm. I think you don't have to, it's so easy to know. You can't miss it. You can't miss it because you feel the happiest, the most energetic, the most productive, and the most alive. I think the word alive. You become alive. Twinkle in your eye, brows unwrinkled, smile on your face, your heart is open, is echoing your voice, spring in your step, and you're glowing and flowing and oozing with energy. That's the flow, right? And the
Yeah.
spark.
Sherry, what about you? How do you
Yes.
feel like when you know you're in your flow?
I think I'm in my flow not only when I achieve what I aspire for, but when I get to make myself aware of the things that I have done and I see the impact that I have for others. You know what I mean? There's just that sense of joy every single day that you're grateful for every moment. That is when I know I'm in my flow, not just because I'm productive, but because I find joy in what I do.
I completely hear you.
Thank you. How do you know you're in your flow, Farzana?
I agree. I agree exactly of what you're saying, Sherry. I think it's that, whatever you're doing, you're grateful and you're in that moment and you know that you're in a good space. You know that you're continuing to um not only grow as a person, but allow others to grow around you in the same way
Yes.
because you're oozing that flow. You're demonstrating it, you're um putting examples out there, you're being that mentor, you're being that leader, you're just being that coworker, that friend, whatever that looks like. You're
Yeah.
just consistently doing that. And when you're consistently doing that, I think that flow just sits, it's like having two angels on your shoulder and it's just sitting there.
Yes, I agree.
I think gratitude
Azim?
also plays a part, when you're grateful for what you have. And what Fazana was talking about, the doubts that come in. when you're grateful, the doubts move out, right? Because the
Yes.
doubts prevents the flow. The doubt tells you I'm not in the right place, I'm not doing the right things. But when you're grateful and getting the chance to serve somebody and making an impact and transforming their lives, and are grateful for that, the doubts disappear because you're being productive, impactful, and positive about what you're doing. That creates that feeling of energy and of being alive and being a useful human being who transforms people's lives in one way or the other.
And maybe it's doing the switch of maybe I'm grateful that I have this doubt because it allows me to reflect and it
Yes,
allows me to grow, right?
exactly.
Azim, you talk about challenges, right? We're growing from our challenges and learning from them. Even our doubts could be that same kind of mechanism for us, right? I'm grateful that I have this doubt. Why do I have this doubt and how do I move on from that?
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
like
grateful.
that. Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Azim.
Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
I'm
Go ahead.
grateful that I'm overcoming a challenge.
Yes.
I'm grateful that I'm overcoming a challenge and is making me more better at what I do, right?
Yeah, but I would like to go back to what Farzana said that when you have a doubt, that is when you like it and become grateful because you get to overcome it. The question is, how do you overcome doubt and fear every single day? Because we are not perfect, we are humans. There are times that doubts and fear would seep in, Azim.
Yeah, I think the key question is if you believe in the outcome, if you believe in the knowing that this is a done deal, zero doubt, then you look at a doubt as a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. A doubt or a challenge or an obstacle or a hurdle is not seen as a block, but is seen as a step. I have to take these steps to achieve my knowing. My knowing is a done deal. It's zero doubt. I'm going to get there. But what I'm going through is part of the process because you cannot achieve great success without stumbles. And you don't look at a
Correct.
stumble as a stumble. You look at it as a requirement to overcome and pass that grade to grade one, grade two, grade three, grade four, until you get to grade 12 or whatever the grade is to achieve your outcome. It's part of that process. So you look at it as a blessing that I'm getting a chance to overcome these things to help me achieve my destiny.
Yeah. For someone who is not familiar with the framework Spark, service, purpose, attraction, resilience, and knowing, what is the process? Like a daily thing that they should do to get where they would want to be. Let's start with you, Farzana.
That's a great question, actually. I would say, take each one and do something from each one. So, service, right? Simply saying hello or smiling to someone, right? Purpose. You did that on purpose. You actually made the effort, right? And then you continue to go through. And when you hit the knowing, you're going to feel it, right? Just by doing that simple act of what we say service, it trickles down to every single aspect of Spark.
Yeah, I love that. Azim?
Yeah, so I think we mentioned that service is the spark ignition. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're aspiring for, whatever that knowing is based on service. I'm going to serve to create impact in people's lives. And that has to be clear. That has to be the foundation. I'm not doing it for self serving. I'm doing it for something bigger than myself, right? Selfless. Second thing is whatever I'm serving is aligned to my purpose. What is my purpose? What am I here in the world to do? What gift has God given me? God has given us all. Fazana has a certain gift, which I don't have. Shari, you have a certain gift that I don't have. We all have our own gifts. And we have to align our service towards the gift we have. The service mantra is to be around the gift. So service is the foundation. I'm doing it to make impact in somebody else's life or some cause that I'm going for. The purpose is aligned to what my gift is and what I need to do in my life, with my ultimate purpose, Fido, when I'm dying, how is connected to that. And then I have an affirmation about that. Whatever I'm aspiring for, I'm clear about it. I'm saying it with intensity, with clarity, with conviction, with frequency. And then I'm designing my activities around that to to make sure that I am not in a trap and becoming a magnet and attracting people, circumstances to help him, and then expecting stumbles, problems, challenges, hurdles, roadblocks. And I put my resilience in place where I have the inverse paranoia mentality, the positive mental attitude, and I'm bouncing back bigger and stronger. And finally, aligning with the knowing, with my journaling, with my meditation, with my balance. So the whole journey becomes part of the. Now, it may sound complicated, but how do you make it natural? How do you make it natural that this just becomes part of your being? The spark is not something you try to compartmentalize it. It becomes a natural flow in a habit you create. Remember, for Shari, are you breathing right now?
Yeah,
How do you know?
because I am here. It's just you don't have to be intentional about it. It's natural,
So
right?
when that habit becomes as natural as breathing, it becomes mastery. You're doing it naturally, right? But you got to drill and drill and drill before it becomes natural. That's why we have the 60-60 day masterclass to go through that process. And even then, it's not perfect, right? But that's the
Yeah.
piece you want to be.
Yes. Azim, can you say that you are now in that state of your life that you're knowing that you're just in your flow? Tell us why.
Well, I think, one thing I realize is always a work in progress and there's always room for improvement. And that's the beauty because there is perfection in imperfection. Let me repeat. It's perfection in imperfection. We are all imperfect. Only God is perfect. Okay. So we know that. But there has to be continuous improvement. There has to be a flow that I'm getting better and better and better and better every day in every way. That's the beauty. So I can say, yes, I'm getting better and better and better every day in every way, but it's not perfect. And
Yeah.
that's the beauty. You wake up in the morning and you know this still, otherwise you're dead. You're dead. If you're completely perfect, you're dead.
How about you, Farzana? What do you say to that?
I 100% agree. I mean, Azim couldn't say it any better. Honestly, couldn't say it any better.
Yes, there's always room for improvement. As I remember, like, my mentor, I know he's not the first one who said it, but Peter Legg would always say the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. If you do not think that you need to improve anymore, then you're among the people in the grave, right? So it's always a journey for us. And we make our journey every day special and with spark because of what we do and what we want to become. For someone who's listening right now, what is one truth that you hope them to take away with after listening to this podcast? Let's start with you, Farzana.
One truth. Wow, I wasn't expecting that question at all. One truth. I would say, trust in yourself. Just believe in you. We talk about this knowing, like you just know within you, like how do you feel that, right? We're all people that pray and meditate and, feel that inner knowing. Some people may not have that. And some people might feel like my gut is telling me the right thing. That gut is the same thing, right? And so don't be afraid to follow that gut because you don't know where it's going to lead you.
Azim.
The best way to begin is to begin. You see, the past does not matter. Past is gone. Start fresh. Start now. And have that faith that the fact that I'm beginning now, that's the magic. Yesterday's history, it's gone. Tomorrow's a mystery, I don't know. But today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. And I'm starting from the present, starting from this moment now. And my life can be transformed because this is the day, the best day of my life, the best moment of my life. And the best way to start something, it's the intention. It's an intention, it's a thought that I want to improve. And by the way, as we said, we all can improve. And I want to improve and what I want to improve on. Do I pick a specific place to improve on, whether it's my health, whether it's my service, whether it's my family, whether it's my finance, whether it's my education, whatever it is, the desire is a starting point, and then following the spark methodology, that there is a service component, there's a purpose component, there's an attraction component, there's a resilience component, and there's a knowing component, and go from there. And once you begin, today can be the greatest day of your life. It can be a transformational day of your life. And 24 hours is 86,400 seconds given to you free. Like if you get $86,400 to spend, and if you don't spend, they are gone. Either you spend it or you lost. So you're going to spend every penny. So we got 86,400 seconds to spend today. Let's spend them in the new startup we want to make. And one day can be like eternity. And one day can be the transformational push and the force to springboard your spark.
Sherry, I just
Yeah.
have to say it's not fair that you ask me these questions first before Azim. Just say. But I would love to hear your perspective.
What truth? Because the question is, what truth would you like people to go away with after our conversation?
Yeah.
The truth is that we are all unique. We have to be aware of our gift and understand what are we here for. When you understand that, that is very powerful. And your journey can begin beautifully
I
with
think
joy, with purpose, with service. And then when you know that, you know, like what I have learned from Azim, zero doubt, everything will just end out, or everything will work out in your favor because you know. Well, that's the truth that I would like them to take away with, because that's my truth.
and it's a good truth. Honestly, it really is. And what I would add to that is the importance of not being afraid to just go out there and do it.
Amazing. I agree. Yes. Take risks. What if they don't like you? It is okay. As long as you like yourself, right? You have to like yourself before other people could like you. You've
And
got
not
to,
everyone not
yeah,
everyone is gonna like you, and that's okay.
exactly.
Right? You have to
Yes,
be okay with that. Yeah,
I know,
absolutely.
right?
And
Yes, and
be open to feedback. I mean, if somebody
yes,
doesn't like you, find out why does she or she doesn't like you. It doesn't mean that you agree or anything, but always be open to say, maybe I'm not seeing something somebody else is seeing, and maybe there are blessing coming to you to tell you something that could make you better. That could, again, if you're a living magnet, you attract people, circumstances. That's it. But all these circumstances are not always positive. They could even be negative.
Mhm.
But
yes,
negative is making you cross correct so you achieve your goal.
I
So
agree.
this is where you are kind of, because you're so much conviction that you know everything is helping you, the good, the bad, and indifferent, and everything will not be good. And that's where you feel that's the inverse paranoia mentality, that you look at everything as not getting paranoid, but the opposite of paranoid, right?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Azim, that you have mentioned that, like, because feedback is very important. If you're too full of yourself, there's no room for growth. If you will have not room to listen to the things that you need to improve on. And I truly appreciate that, because if there's one thing that I've also learned throughout this process is that listening with your heart. I think that's important. And I just want to go back to the words that you've mentioned, Azim, like become a living magnet. When you know, you become a living magnet. You just realize that, hey, this is already happening to me. How did this happen to me? Because you are a living magnet, right? The universe just gives you what you aspire for because you become what you're supposed to be. Am I making sense?
Yes, I think the hard part sometimes is when bad things happen to you. And you say, what is the living magnet around me? But believing that that bad thing is a good thing. I mean, feedback is a breakfast of champions. Champions want
Yes.
feedback. The more
Yes.
specific the feedback, the better, right? So you don't then say, well, this is bad. This is not really helping me to my outcome. No, it is. Because the magnet is telling you you have to overcome this part of your thing to keep moving.
Yes.
Because you always want to see positive things happening so you feel energetic. But looking at the negative and the hard and the not so smooth things happening to be part and parcel of the journey is very critical.
Yes. Finally, my last question to you both. What message would you like to share to a friend who is struggling, finding their spark and getting to hear their inner voice by knowing? Who wants to start?
I can start. I would say try not to be in your way. And if you're facing challenges, whatever they are, mental, emotional, physical, whatever those are, start with just that engine of service. And it will open up doors for you that you truly won't realize until you get in it. So I would say don't be afraid. Just do it.
I love it. Azim.
Don't be too hard on yourself. We're not perfect. We all have bad mistakes. We say that God is the most merciful. The Sufis said, no matter how much might man has to sin, God is a bigger might to forgive. So never limit God's mercy. So don't be too hard on yourself. Yes, you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. All the three of us are not perfect.
Yes.
So that's not perfection is required, but accept your shortcomings, accept your struggles, and start fresh. And say, look, let me start fresh. Let's me start at the beginning, and I have this aspiration to become better and better every day in every way. And world is not ending. I mean, you're not dead yet, and as long as you got your life, and take one day at a time. Living in airtight compartments. because we don't know about tomorrow. We may not be around tomorrow. So make the day the most important day. Make the moment the most important moment. Be kind to yourself and gentle to yourself and start afresh by doing
Yes.
small acts of kindness, making small improvements here and there. And suddenly, as in Swahili, we say, haba na haba hujaza kibaba, drop by drop, we fill the bucket, drop by drop, we fill the bucket. And each day, filling the bucket and doing something good gets you more energy and then, momentum as well.
I would
Yeah.
add to that is just taking that baby step forward. It doesn't
Yes.
have to be a big leap. It's just a small baby step. And Azim's right. You know what? We're not perfect and we all have made
Yes.
mistakes. You know what? We can all learn from that, but we become better people because of it.
Yes, agree. Thank you so much to both of you, Azim and Farzana. This has been a wonderful conversation. And I would like to share my prayer with you, my dear friends. I think I've shared it in our previous episodes, but I've missed some lines. I'd say, God will do exceedingly abundantly because I honor him. His blessings will chase me down and overtake me. I'm in the right place at the right time. People will get out of their way to be good to me. I'm surrounded by God's favor. That is my declaration, and that is what I know. Thank you so much once again. And if you like this episode, please share it with your friends. Follow Life Expressions. Hit that subscribe button so that you'll be notified each time we have a new episode here in Life Expressions. My guests, Azim Jamal and Farzana Kherani. Till next time, here in Life Expressions. Be a positive impact wherever you are, in all that you do, however you can.